Welcome to lesson number 5. What we want to do, first of all, briefly look back at lesson number 4. In lesson number 4, we focused on multiplication by 10 and also multiplication by 5. Let's review. Multiplication by 10. When 10 is one of our two factors, then we take the other number, which is not 10, which is 3 in this instance. And after that, what should we put? We should put a 0. So 10 times 3, 30. Second one, same way. We look at our two digits right here, or our two numbers rather. This one's not 10, so we're going to write down the 6 right there. Put a 0 after that. 6 times 10, 60. That would be multiplication by 10. Multiplication by 5. Let's take a look at multiplication by 5. When it comes to multiplication by 5, what we did yesterday, we focused in on skip counting. And so, for instance, here we have 4 groups of 5. And so with our skip counting, we would go 5, 10, 15, 20. And so 4 times 5 would be 20. This second problem here, I want to have us do 3 different ways. Why? Well, often you've learned in math in the past that there's more than one way usually to do a problem. And what I want to do is I want to show you 3 ways to do this problem. First of all, the quick way. The quick way is to realize that we do have a 10 here, so I'm going to take the other number 5 and I'll put a single 0 after it, 50. That is my favorite way. A second way to do this problem, though, would be to say we have 5 groups of 10 and then start skip counting by 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we would get that by skip counting. A third way to do this problem would be to do this. Instead of thinking about 5 times 10, we can switch the order here, and often you can do this in your head and think about 10 times 5. Now, what we can say is we have 10 groups of 5 and then start skip counting by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Still our answer will be 50. So you notice that we went through 3 ways to do this problem. Which way should you do this problem? Well, it depends. Whichever way you find makes most sense to you. Over time, though, I would say that most students do it by just bringing the 5 over here and then putting a single 0 after it by using our shortcut. Now, one thing that I want to warn you against. I've been using my fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. Fingers are sort of like training wheels when you're riding a bike. When you learn to ride a bike, usually you have the training wheels in the back and they help you from falling over. But then after a while, you realize that you don't need the training wheels at all. And so you have your dad usually take them off and then you can go on riding your bike. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes and spill a little bit, but those training wheels are helpful in the beginning. Well, your fingers are also going to be helpful at the beginning. But after a while, you'll find out that you don't really need them. And when you do find that out, you'll naturally stop using them. Now, I do encourage you, after you feel comfortable, to try to phase out the fingers. After a while, what you'll notice is you'll be able to do problems like what we did in our head by recall. You'll just have them all memorized. Okay, before we start the main part of our lesson, I wanted to mention skip counting. Hopefully, you've been practicing skip counting every single day. It's very, very important because as you learn to skip count, you're learning your multiplication facts, and you want to make sure that you learn them well. And so you want to make sure that you are practicing those. Now, in the back of the student edition of the book, is a page with your skip counting blanks and the different numbers. I encourage you to make your own copy of that and practice that every single day. The more you practice that, the quicker you learn your multiplication facts and the sooner you'll be able to move on. Next thing that I want to do, let's go ahead and begin the lesson. Today we're going to focus in on multiplying by 9 and also multiplying by 3. Let's go ahead and begin with multiplying by 9. Obviously, to multiply by 9, we're going to skip count by 9. We're of course going to start by 9s, and then we're going to go up 9 every time. Well, from our addition facts, we learned that 9 plus 9 is 18, and so we're going to get an 18 here. And then we can go ahead and work on the next ones. I want you to go ahead and pause the video now and see if you can fill in the next ones. Use pencil in case you make a mistake. Then we'll go through that right when you get back. Thank you. Okay, let's see how you did. We've got 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Make any corrections that you need to make right now. You may pause the video. All right. Now that we've got that all set, let's go ahead and write in our problems below each skip counting number. All right, now what we want to do is take a look at the main thing here, which is the pattern. It turns out that in this information that we have right here, there are many, many patterns. We're going to go ahead and focus in on several of these shortly, but I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out some patterns that we have in this work right here. Give it your best try. Pause it now. Thank you. Okay, let's take a look back at this and see what we can find. First of all, as we look at our numbers here, and I'm talking about these numbers here at the top, one thing that you probably realize is that in the ones place, in each one of these numbers, and we're talking about the ones place, remember this is the ones place, that would be the tens place. Here's the ones place. I'm going to underline all these digits that are in the ones place. If we do that, I think it's very clear that there's a pattern here. We have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and I think you know how it ends. That's a pattern that's going to be very, very helpful for us. A second pattern. Let's go ahead and take a look at the digit that's in the tens place. In the number 9, we have no digit in the tens place, so I'm just going to write a 0 there. I can do that. And I'm going to go ahead and underline that. Now I'm going to underline all the digits in the tens place in each of our numbers here. As we take a look at this carefully, you probably notice that there's a pattern with these numbers. What's the pattern? Well, as we take a look at the numbers underlined in blue, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you see what's happening there. Now, why is this pattern important? Well, one thing is this. When you're filling out your skip counting sheet that's at the end of your book, and when you're practicing skip counting on your own, if you're trying to skip count by the number 9, what you can do is you can go ahead and draw out your blanks, and you know you start off with a 9. And then what you can do is you can say I get 18, 27. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the tens place here. We have a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then next what we can do is we can go ahead and write out the ones place. It's 9, but the ones place value goes down. So we have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And that makes it easier when you're trying to figure out your nines. A second pattern right here that I want to make sure that we realize. And this pattern right here is going to be very important later in math. Usually when you have a number like 18, you have no reason to add these two digits together. However, something interesting happens when you do that. If somebody asks us to add the digits 1 and 8 together, we know that 1 plus 8 is going to give us 9. We know 0 plus 9 gives us 9 again. What's 2 plus 7? 9. 3 plus 6? 9. I think you get the idea that the sums of all the digits right here, all the way up to 90, is going to be 9. And that's going to be something that's going to be a big help when we are trying to understand the pattern with the numbers. These patterns that we study here will lead to certain shortcuts that we'll go through later. And those shortcuts will make nines a real easy pattern to memorize. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and give you some practice problems to try right now. And so I want you to try these. Please pause the video and we'll go through these shortly. All right, let's see how everything went. Here we have two groups of 9. And if I skip count by 9, I'm going to think to myself 9, 18. They're my two groups. So this will be 18. The next one, 3 groups of 9. So I'm going to skip count by 9, 9, 18, 27. So I'm going to write in 27. The next one, here we have 5 groups of 9. I'm going to go ahead and skip count again, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. That's my 5 groups. The last one, 9 times 8, 9 groups of 8. Wait a second, I haven't done groups of 8. I've done groups of 9. Would it be okay for me to switch the order here and think of this as 8 groups of 9 if I'd like? Of course, that's our commutative property. 8 groups of 9. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72. So this right here will equal 72. Okay, now as you work through nines, one thing that you're going to realize is that there are going to probably be other shortcuts that you're going to run into. And when you run into those shortcuts, and I tell my students at school this all the time, if you run into a shortcut in math and you check with your teacher and they tell you that shortcut is okay to use, ladies and gentlemen, use it all the time. Okay, you want to go ahead and use what you figure out in math to make your math problems easier to do. All right, moving right along. What I want to do next is have us take a look at how we multiply by 3. That's going to be our second topic today. Well, in order to multiply by 3, we need to skip count by 3. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, what I want to have you do is I want to have you go ahead and try to fill this in on your own in pencil. Then we'll go through this right here. Do your best. Skip count by 3. Start now, please. Hopefully you paused the video. Let's go ahead and take a look, see how everything went. We're starting at 3. We know from our addition facts that 3 plus another 3 gives us 6. 6 plus 3 is going to give us 9. And then we can keep adding 3 to these. 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. And then I don't want to forget 30. All right, now we can go ahead and write in our multiplication facts themselves. And now the next thing that we want to do here is we want to study this and look for some patterns. So please pause the video and I want you to see if you can find some patterns in this work right above here. Do your best. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we can figure out. With the number 3 right here, we're skip counting by 3s, you may have realized certain things that appear to be true. Here we have 3, 6, 9. As we go on to 12, what happens if we add these two digits together? Again, usually we don't do this. But here, if we add up 1 plus 2, what do we get? Well, of course, we get 3. Let's try the next one. 1 plus 5, what do we get? 6. Next one, 1 plus 8, what do we get? 9. Wait a second. 3, 6, 9. Isn't that the same as these? Let's move on. What's 2 plus 1? 2 plus 4. 2 plus 7. 3, 6, 9 again. Would this be helpful in remembering our multiples of 3? Well, it's definitely a pattern there that we can use. In fact, this pattern right over here is going to be something that you are going to study, or maybe you've already studied it a little bit before, when you cover a topic called divisibility rules. So this leads into something that later you're going to learn a whole lot more about. But that is definitely a pattern here. I want you to go ahead and try these next problems, see how these turn out. So pause the video, please try these, and then we'll go through these. Okay, let's see how things went. Here we have two groups of 3, and I'm going to try to skip count by 3. Because I'm skip counting by 3, I need to go 2 into the group of numbers. So I have 3, 6. So this will be 6. 4 groups of 3. Here we have 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 groups of 7. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Now the last one. You know how to skip count by 10s and also how to skip count by 3s. So what do you skip count by to do this? Well, it turns out you can skip count by either one of these. But I think the 10s are much easier. So I'm going to write down a 3, put a 0 at the end. You can do it whichever way you choose. All right, let's go ahead and take a moment and go through an application of skip counting by 3s. Okay, what I have here are groups of triangles. Because it's Christmas time, we went with the Christmas colors. What we want to do here is count the number of sides in each group of triangles. Obviously, one way that we can count the sides is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But using skip counting, what we can do is use what we know about skip counting by 3s. These are all groups of 3. We have 3 sides in each. So we can say 3, 6, 9. I want you to go ahead and try the next one on your own. Pause it, and then we'll go through it. All right. As we take a look here, we can see 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we're going to have a total of 15 sides altogether. All right. Let's take a moment and recap what we did today. We focused in on skip counting by nines, and we said that there are many, many patterns with nines. One of the big patterns is that the ones digit is going to always be going down, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, etc. And the tens digit is always going to be going up, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. An important pattern to make sure you understand. Then we skip counted by threes. And when we skip counted by threes, what we said is that the sum of the digits is always 3, 6, or 9. And that's something that we're going to build on later in math. One last thing that I need to make sure that you see, because this is a very, very interesting way to keep track of your facts for the number 9, skip counting by nines. You can use what's called the finger shortcut for skip counting by nines. Here I have 10 fingers. And to skip count by 9, one thing I can do is I can go ahead and represent the number 9 by taking my little pinky finger, moving it down, and here what I have left is 9 fingers. I have no 10s, I have 9 ones. So that's my first, they call it multiple of 9. To get my next multiple of 9, I can take my fingers and I can put down my second finger. This is my ring finger. If I put that down, what I have now is I have my little pinky finger, that's my 10s, so I have 1 10. And then how many ones do I have to the right of my ring finger? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, plus 5, 8. So this is 1, and then an 8 on the right, that would be 18. And the pattern just goes on, and this is a great way to remember your nines. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and put down my third finger. And if I do, I have 2 fingers to the left of my third finger there, that would be 20. How many fingers to the right here do I have? 5 plus 2 gives me 7, so 27. Now, how do I figure out what number goes where? Well, basically everything to the left of my finger that's down is in the tens place. Everything to the right of my finger that's down is going to be in the ones place. So the next number after my third finger going down is going to be my pointer finger. I'm going to put that down. So it's going to be how many tens? 3. It's going to be 30. And then how many ones? 6. 36. And so by just using your hands, what you can do is you can go ahead and come up with your skip counting by 9 numbers that you're going to need to know. And so that would be just another way to remember these. Next time what we want to do is focus in on multiplying by 8, also multiplying by 4. At this point in time, please work on your practice worksheet or worksheets and also your review worksheet or worksheets. Do your best.